PrisonReport.com, prisonnews.us for some of the alternate auxiliary sites. They have some exclusive news that's only on those sites. But the big main sites are updated 3 or 4 times a day are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Michael, I want to get into a little bit of positive news first. Then I want to get into the technological control grid, the enslavement grid, what your new film's about, that is the bad news, but knowing the enemy is half the battle. But you talk and speak a lot about the exponential awakening. And listen, I tend to underestimate how many people I reach individually. And I'm just one, little outpost in all of this. I don't overgauge myself. But really, it doesn't matter any guest I call up now, some engineer or Chuck Norris or, some politician or somebody in another country. Or I go to foreign countries. People all over the street come up to me now. I go to Honduras, or I go to England, or I go to Germany, or I go to, some other part of the world. And just, I'm one little guy in all this. And now, take Austin, my center of operations. It's now where I'll be at the gym and 80% of the people in there come up and aren't just coming up saying hi. They're waking up, they're listening. And so I see with my own life an exponential explosion in people starting to understand there's more to the world than meets the eye or the mainstream media surface. And so it's exponential. So I see these two things that, the global enslavement grid coming head to head with a mass human awakening. Your comments on that?
Well, I agree with that totally. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing my work. It is one of the things everything you said is true for me as well. Wherever I go, the enormous amount of emails and feedback that I get, and even the negative reaction, at least that shows me that this juggernaut, as I said, the lights, must be blinding some people. That gives you the reverse understanding that, it must be happening, because look at even the reactions it's causing, even in a negative way, to people. You must know that by their threat, you can also tell, by their backlashing, you can tell, my God, our time has come. And I always describe it as being that people have to stay very optimistic what's happening. This can... I am not a person who ever believes that evil will ever triumph in the world, because just like nature abhors a vacuum, nature also abhors that which is evil. And if you are evil, if you're operating from that mindset, you've actually just raised a red flag to the powers of nature to say, come and get me, wipe me out. And I also believe that we are in the time of the death throes of this kind of, sphere of activity, this kind of imperialism. It's bad, it's hot, yeah, they're up in our face, but as a matter of fact, I also believe, you see, that it's a situation in which these individuals, it's their dying days. They're in the last phase of the tyranny, and that, it's a situation that we're gonna overcome it. And it's just, I don't entertain any other idea at all, because I wouldn't be wasting my time on 5 minutes of any of this research if I didn't totally and utterly believe that good always triumphs over evil, and it will do, and that these people are evil. And my message is that we have to study the nature of evil. Yeah, a person can be good, but a person can also be good and stupid, or good and blind. The point is now that the awakening continues as we pass the torch from one person to the other. We get our arms around as much information as we can. We do not bicker because we have minute differences. We're all encamped here. I said this in one of my talks in Los Angeles. We all have our tents encamped upon the battlefield. We have a common enemy to fight. Let us not then bicker and fight amongst ourselves, which is exactly what the enemy on the other side of the valley wants us to do, and which is expert at creating situations in which we do this. We've got to understand the fifth columnists, the agent provocateurs, who come in to pit one side of the research community against another. That's why the internet is infested with these kinds of people, these so-called debunkers, these so-called swarmy, slimy, so-called internet assassins. I mean, I've often said that, behind every garbage can is a critic. Well, inside every garbage can is a debunker. And these people are the ones who are like the frozen deer, the toothless piranhas that are stifling.
Well, you notice they never give any proof either. We're saying we're waking up.
They don't have any proof.
We're affecting truth. I know. But people who are really doing it are waking people up. They're involved. They're saying, let's work together. But the enemy will attack you and then say, oh, we should work together. Why aren't you working together? They never, it's just unbelievable. But it's not just conscious enemy operatives. There are a lot of just broken down, morbid, malfunctioning minds out there that, also have woken up to the New World Order, but still just thrash about attacking everyone. We're going to continue with Michael Tsarion. MichaelTsarion.com is his website. Stay with us.
Political Talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Okay, we got about 51 minutes left with Michael Tsarion, great researcher, michaeltsarion.com. Michael, break down the technological control grid, the microwave guns, the face scanning cameras, the poison in the food and water, all of it admitted, all of it being intensified. 1 in 33 having cancer, now 1 in 2 in men, 1 in 3 in women. The plagues are upon us. It is engineered. Break down this grid.
Well, this, like I said, coming out of the work of Jim Keith and the people who had more of a look at this technotronic world, and you even have some of the insiders talking about that they can't wait for this, people of the Bertrand Russell School, you see, and the whole bread and circus clan, the intellectual types. What I've been studying is more the elite type, the people at the top of the pyramid. What is their thinking? What do they want? How do they see mankind? The people coming out of the Thomas Malthus School, the people coming out of the Frankfurt schools and the Tavistock Institute, and these highbrows who have always looked at us as some sort of subhuman, animalistic kind of being. I don't want to get into it right now, but my work even tracks the whole genetic interference with mankind back thousands of years ago. So what we're seeing now with the industrial age, and now we're in the silicon age, and we have all these MITs and Sun corporations, you see, and all of this effort to look at our genes and to present the gene to us in a very subliminally negative way, as some sort of mechanical construct that is just, like a Lego
dirty,
set.
It's broken, we're bad. And for those that don't know, they would, 2,000 years ago in Rome, breed large, brutish, quote, dumb Germans, Gauls, and others, together when the slaves were mainly white. And then it's openly in the slave manuals, very politically incorrect to say, but it's actually history. I'm not saying it worked, but they actually did also breed people in this country to be large and stupid, according to what the official documents say. Go ahead.
That's right. This is where they're at. This is what Jim Keith's work really alerted me to. The Dr. Delgados, these Frankensteinian, Bela Lugosi creatures that haunt the technical world, that have huge amount of funding. And what really caught my eye, because as I told you before, my introduction to a lot of this had been through art and through symbolism. I started to notice that the symbolism that these Alex de Grays and these individuals who are now behind the whole genome project and many of the other technological sort of projects and organizations, right from the time of Francis Crick doing his main research in the Templar zones of London, and then the first genetic experiments being done in the Templar areas of Scotland near Rosslyn. This kind of stuff started to raise a red flag for me, because here we're up against the Templar symbolism again. Here we're seeing the Holy Grail symbolism again. Here we're seeing the men in white with the red crosses. What is all of this? What has science got to do with any of this? So then I started, tracking that and got into the work of Jim Keith and others who start talking about that, look, the assault on the human race has been on consciousness, but it's also been on biology. And anyone who stands up against the FDA, the AMA, any of the Dr. Raymond Royal Reichs, the Wilhelm Reichs, the Walter Russells, the Max Gersons, the list is endless of anyone who stands up to say, here's how real healing happens, here's how you get, back to your center, both not only legal sovereignty in a social sense, but spiritual sovereignty. They suppress and molest those people. They burn their works. They purge them. They do not let their knowledge be known. So some of the attacks on the human being, you see, we have to understand the nature of evil and understand the Hydra that is not just attacking in one way. In fact, often, as Archibald Wavell, the general, said, watch what the right hand is doing because you're not seeing the left hand. They may present in front of you some sort of bugbear, some sort of, it's like Wizard of Oz shadow for you to be, shaking in front of, but the real enemy is coming at you from the back. So this is what I've also been studying, and I really do believe that this post-human world is upon us. The global village is upon us. That comes out of my studies of Fabianism and study of the common purpose and all of that. But the global village can be many things. They may not even put chains on you. They may not even build a wall around you, but you can still inhabit this planet as a global slave in the global village. There's many ways of attaining this. And through these RFID chips, the whole situation of the whole digital kingdom opening up for us, this is what's going at breakneck speed. Since the sort of falling back of the main military budgets, we're not too much falling back on it, but as obviously they scaled back from Star Wars and these other things, where do you think all that money is going? That money is now going into the whole technological, world to create for human race. Basically a cyber purgatory, which is going to be what supplants this ending that I've talked about in the next 4 to 5 years. You're going to see a sort of a countdown to extinction of all the traditions, all the accepted norms that our forefathers worked for, that we've understood, that our grandparents and our parents. This is both an education, but specifically in medical. Just look at the way that children are medicated up the eyeballs right now. You know, I mean, the complete destruction. There's even one slug from Stanford University who wants to start introducing the anti, the ADD pills, the drugs,